Good evening, this is Amit Bakarel and let's begin with the top stories. This hour, discussions on the first Constitution Amendment Bill to begin on Saturday. Government unveils and sectoral reform plan. Deputy Prime Minister Thapa leaves for China. Visit expected to speed up process for import of fuel from China. Indian Parliament passes a bill which allows juveniles from 16 to 18 years of age to be tried as adults for serious crimes. And Sri Lanka stunts Nepal 1-0 in the opening match of the SAF Championship in India. Discussions on the first Constitution Amendment Bill is to begin on Saturday. Samyukta Loktantrik Madhesi Morcha protested at today's Parliament against the bill. But a motion and discussion on the bill was still endorsed unanimously. At the meeting, the Morcha-affiliated parties voiced their protest. Minister for Industry, Som Prasad Pandey, had tabled the motion saying the bill be discussed. Speaker Onsari Kharti then announced the date for the discussion to begin. MPs Sushila Nepal, Sita Nepali, Kanta Patarai, Raja Lakshmi Shrestha, Meena Poon, Prem Bahadur Singh demanded probe into ill treatment of President Vidya Bhandari in Janakpur. The lawmakers criticized the government, saying the guilty had not been booked even after a week since the incident. Speaker Kharti said the issue would also be taken up in the next parliamentary meeting. Cabinet has unveiled an immediate reform action plan at a time when the Prime Minister's office has been widely criticized for failing to exhibit an effective role. Chief Secretary Somlal Subedi made public the action plan this afternoon. The plan includes activities like post-earthquake reconstruction, effective monitoring of large-scale projects, and boosting the performance of public service officers. The action plan has also pledged to contribute in accomplishing the construction of highway along the central hilly region, initiate works regarding the proposed electric train in the capital, among others. Besides that, the two-year plan has mentioned the activities the respective ministries should prioritize to expedite the development process. Likewise, the action plan discouraged providing loans to small projects and implementation of the white paper recently unveiled by the government. The plan has stressed on the institutionalization of federalism through constitutional implementation. Every year, farmers in Kailali get together to build an artificial canal to divert water from the Karnali River into their fields. The lack of concrete canals in the region has forced them to undertake the challenging task. However, the farmers see it more as a communal event than a labor-intensive task. The farmers have arrived here from Kailali's Tikapur and the 8 surrounding VDCs. People from Tharu and hilly communities have all joined hands to build the canal. The farmers claim that this undertaking has sent a positive message to the entire country about communal harmony and unity. There are no concrete canals in Kailali's eastern region. The farmers in the region have been building canals for themselves in this fashion for many years. More than 10,000 farmers reached the Karnali River to contribute their labor for canal construction. Farmers of every village go there in 5-day ships. Keeping the problems of the farmers in mind, the government had earlier started the Rani Chamara Kularia irrigation project in the region in 2009. The project is expected to be completed by 2018. And in this context, we had asked the farmers involved in digging the canal for irrigation what sort of difficulties were they facing for having to come to work. Before we go for a short break, let's take a look at what they had to say.
कहीं धुंगा लागेर घाउ पनि हुन्छ घरमा खाना नबनाए खाएर हाम्रो गाई भैँस भोकाइ छन् म एक कुलामा आउँदाखेरि बाखाले भैँसले पानी पाएका छैनन् यहाँ हात दुखेका छन् खन्नाले बुढी पनि हामी लट्ठी टेकेर पनि कुलामा आउँछु धेरै समस्या छ हामीले अब किरपाल टाङेर पनि बसेका छौं कसैले त अब चाहिँ सिटमा पनि बसेका छन् सिर्फ कोदालोले यत्रो यो खाल्डो कोर्न कति दुःख हुन्छ त्यो अब भोग्नेलाई थाहा होला स्कुल कलेज छोडेर बिहान 5 बजेबाट तिरेर आउँछ
यस्तो जाडो मौसम छ अब यस्तो हावा छ यहाँको धेरै समस्या छ
10 कट्टा बिघा 1.5 बिघा त कोही आएको छैन 4 कट्टा 6 कट्टा 2 कट्टा यसो होला मात्रै छन् यही छ समस्या कि यो पट्टाको हिसाबले पैसा लगाइदिएखेरि अति राम्रो हुनेछ
वर्षरी आउने खन्नु पर्ने 1 साल हैन 2 साल हैन खनेर गयो अर्को साल आउँदा बाढीले पुरेर उस्तै बराबर बनाइदिन्छ
यति मेहनत गर्दा गर्दा पनि हिउँदे बाली अझ हाम्रो त्यस्तै छ खर्च मात्रै हुने हिउँदे बालीलाई चाहिँ हामीले अझै पनि पुगाउन सकेका छैन
Welcome back after the break. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Kamal Thapa left for a 5-day official visit to China today. He is leading a 5-member team. He will be holding talks on political and economic issues with China. Law Minister Agni Prasad Kharel, Finance Secretary Lokdarshan Regni, Commerce Secretary Indra Prasad Upadhyay are in the team. Talking to journalists at the Tribhuvan International Airport, Thapa said that discussions would also be held on economic support from China as well as fuel import. Thapa will be holding talks in the direction of clinching bilateral trade treaty, BIPPA, Free Trade Treaty, FTA, Transit and Trade Treaty and Oil Import Treaty. Although talks are on at the diplomatic level on these issues, they are yet to be finalized. But the foreign minister said that agreement on the oil treaty was less likely. Speaking in a different context, Thapa said that government had already sent a proposal to the Madhesi Morcha requesting them to come to an agreement and call off protest. An alliance of the plains-based parties Sanghiya Samah Beshi Madhesi Gathbandhan took out a rally in Janakpur today. Leaders and cadres of the alliance staged the rally, alleging that police suppressed their demonstration in Rohtat's Gaur and Sarlai's Malangwa a few days ago. The demonstrators carried sticks in show of retaliation. The alliance has also imposed a shutdown of markets and financial institutions in Janakpur. They have said the government and the major three parties were still not serious about addressing the rights of the Madhesi people. Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli has said that he would be ready to accept any kind of agreement if it involves the welfare of the country and its people. Oli said so during a program organized to mark the 92nd birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Krishna Prasad Patrai. He said that he would never accept any agreement that goes against the welfare of the country and its people. At the program, Nepali Congress senior leader Sir Bahadur Deuba said that if the agitating parties gave up their blockade program along the border, his party would be willing to hold talks with them over any matter. At the program, Prime Minister Oli said that if the leaders embraced the values practiced by former Prime Minister Krishna Prasad Patrai, it would be a great contribution to the nation. PM Oli also inaugurated the statue of leader Krishna Prasad Patrai at the Patrai Ashram in Paregaon today. Nepal's ambassador to the United States, Arjun Kumar Karki, has been appointed the concurrent to Nicaragua. He presented his credentials to the president of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega Saavedra, on Friday. On the occasion, Karki also extended greetings to the Nicaraguan president on behalf of President Vidya Devi Bhandari and Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli. President Ortega accepted the greetings and also extended his wishes peace and prosperity of the Nepalese people. He also hoped that Karki would be instrumental in improving bilateral ties between the two countries. Karki is Nepal's first ambassador to Nicaragua. Buddhists from different parts of the world have congregated in Lumbini to offer prayers for the world peace. The ritual will be conducted for 11 days. It is believed that ritual will help cleanse evil deeds and bring many graces. It is also conducted for the peace of the soul and of the world. People in the modern world are being misled by instability, greed and attachment. The prayers offered to the Bodhisattvas is expected to help the world become free of sins. Charity, service and good deeds are the foundation of Buddhism. Over 5,000 monks from Nepal, China, India, Canada, Korea, Singapore, Sri Lanka and Vietnam are participating in the prayer service. The event is expected to boost tourism while also encouraging people to lead a peaceful way of life. The Indian Parliament has passed a bill which allows juveniles between 16 and 18 years of age to be tried as adults for serious crimes like rape or murder. At present, those under 18 can be sentenced to a maximum of 3 years in a reform facility. The move to change the law gathered momentum after the youngest convict in the notorious 2012 Delhi gang raid was recently released from detention. The parents of the victim were among those campaigning to change the law. On Tuesday, the Juvenile Justice Bill was passed by the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of the parliament. The bill was approved by the Lok Sabha, the lower house, in May. It will now have to be signed by the president to become law, which correspondents say is a mere formality. The new law will not apply to the youngest 2012 rapist, but it will be used in future cases involving juvenile offenders above 16 years. Authorities say the number of juvenile crimes have been increasing. Last year, 38,565 cases were registered, including many cases of rapes, murders, and acid attacks. The supporters of the new law say tougher punishment will act as a deterrent. However, critics say that India is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, which mandates that all children under the age of 18 be treated equally, and say the new law will violate the convention. And time now for another short break for more news. If Nepal Oil Corporation manages to strike a deal with China, Nepal is likely to import 150 kiloliters of petrol every day. Talking to Kantipur television, NOC's Executive Director Gopal Bahadur Khadka said that feasibility study had already taken place and that if a deal is struck, petroleum could be imported soon. According to Khadka, if the central government of China issues orders, fuel could be imported from Shanghai province. Shanghai refinery could immediately begin supplying petroleum and diesel, according to NOC. If the weather is conducive, 150 kiloliters of petrol could be imported on a daily basis. But there has to be the provision for storage on the Nepali side in order to import 30% of the consumption demand from China. 200 metric tons of gas can be ferried from Shanghai refinery on a daily basis. The difficulties in transporting it makes the deal near impossible for now. Newly nominated Chief Executive Officer of Nepal Tourism Board, Deepak Raj Joshi, has said that salvaging the tourism sector is his top priority. He said this after assuming his position in the board today. He said he would begin work immediately to save the sector that has been hit hard due to earthquakes and political crisis. He said that he would devote 2016 to uplifting the morale of the sector that has been affected. In the second year, he said he would focus on drawing 800,000 tourists a year. The board is a joint entity representing the government and the private sector. The absence of a CEO at the board has affected its operation. It's now time for our segment, Public Pulse, where you SMS us with your opinion. But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's polls. Yesterday we had asked you why have the earthquake victims still not received their relief package for winter. 56% voted for incapable administration, 22% voted for unnecessary politicization, and 22% voted for lack of sensitivity. And now today's question, what should be done in order to promote tourism? And options are A, stress on infrastructure development, B, to boost morale, and C, promote. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 8080 and to share your opinion with us. And time now for the sport update.
Sports news brought to you.
Sri Lanka has stunned Nepal 1-0 in the opening match of the SAF Championship underway in India. In the match played in Kerala's Greenfield International Stadium, Rifnas Mohammed scored the decider for Sri Lanka and stoppage time to register the last-minute victory. With its relatively young and energetic playing lineup, Nepal dominated over Sri Lanka throughout the game with a better ball possession. However, they failed to capitalize on plenty of scoring chances. It was Sri Lanka's counter move in the dying minutes that sealed the match for the Lions. Nepal will next face their strongest contender, India, on Sunday. With one match down, Nepal will have to win or tie Sunday's game to consolidate their semi-final prospects. And before we wrap up, a reminder of the top stories. Discussions on the first Constitution Amendment Bill to begin Saturday. Government unveils and sectoral reform plan. Deputy Prime Minister Thapa leaves for China. Visit expected to speed up process for import of fuel from China. Indian Parliament passes a bill which allows juveniles between 16 and 18 years of age to be tried as adults for serious crimes. And Sri Lanka stuns Nepal 1-0 in the opening match of the SHAF Championship in India. And that's all for this hour. Up next is news in